Good morning, Paul Carew. Everybody knows who I am by now. Veteran Service Director of the town of Natick. We're here to honor the Foley family, Francis, WW2, Paul, 30-year veteran, James, Vietnam, and Daniel, Vietnam. We always start these ceremonies in prayer and followed by the national anthem. And Rose is going to sing the national anthem. Oh, you're not? All right, all right. She's going to play the national anthem for you folks. So bow your heads in prayer. Almighty God, Lord of hosts, we call out to you as the one who is sovereign over all. Watch over and protect our nation's military members and their families. Sustain them with your everlasting arms. As they serve around the world, we ask that you guide their families and loved ones back home. Provide them with peace and surround them with love as they mourn the absence of their loved one and long for their return. May they find hope and strength, you for the trails of each new day. Be with military children who endure the difficult burden of knowing their fathers or mothers are in harm's way or just away for months on end. Guard these children's hearts and minds, despite the loneliness and uncertainty of having a parent deployed. For each and every veteran who has served our country through the years, we thank you for your sacrifice. Comfort those who struggle in life after war. Help us to honor and care for those who have given so much for us. Be with our nation's leaders as well, and all those who make decisions for our military. Give them wisdom in everything they do. We pray this in our Father's name, amen. Rose is now going to play the national anthem for us.
This is Kelly Clarkson singing the national anthem at the 2012 Super Bowl.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we forged were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets the most bursting in earth came through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Thank you, Rosa. I want to thank the town of Natick for their support in making this dedication possible. I want to thank Peter Burke, a family friend, for bringing this to my attention. During the last 14 years as VSO in the town of Natick, the squares in Natick have more than quadrupled to almost 70. including schools, parks, and squares like today. And it's mostly squares like we're doing today. And I'm proud of that fact. I want to thank my executive assistant, Rosa Heffern, who's here today. Without her support and work in my office, I wouldn't have the time to dedicate to these squares. Rosa, thank you. I got to get used to changing the Board of Selectmen to the Select Board. I bring greetings from the Select Board members that couldn't make it today. Catherine Coughlin has COVID. She's sick. And Linda Walshiner cannot make it. She's traveling. I think you say Connecticut. So she's out of town. With us today, members of the Select Board. I'll go right in the order they're standing. One of my favorites in the town of Natick, Christian Pope. Richard Sidney, also. We lost a Natick veteran not too long ago. His family immigrated to this country 10 years ago. And the Select Board were unbelievable in showing their support to this family of 4 children and his wife live in Natick, and it was just unbelievable. And when the body was returned to Natick on Monday night with me for the entire time, comforting the family, hey, this is Paul Carew, Veteran Service Director for Natick, and this is Rich Cindy, member of the Select Board. We went on doing that. I can't count how many times, Rich, and I'm really indebted to you for that. Thank you. And Mr. Evans, Bruce Evans, longtime supporter, longtime member of town government, different committees and so forth. Now he's at the Select Board level, and he's the whole entire Select Board is so supportive of all our veterans' dedications and needs in my office. So I thank you all for that. It's always special in these square dedications to have a member of the family here. Well, this is a little exceptional this time. I do have 2 brothers who will speak at a later time, but one of my classmates from Natick High School, class of 1970, was nice enough to write down the family members. So I'm going to introduce family members that are present, and unfortunately 2 that are deceased. And she wrote, all our lovely family. I love it. Siblings. Tim is deceased. Dan is here. Barbara. I don't think these are in age, are they? They're in order. Yeah, okay. Marty. Paul. Richard is deceased. And last but not least, Janet. I think I've shaken hands or gave each and every one of you a hug already this morning. If I haven't, you owe me one. I'm old Irish. I think Foley's old Irish, right? Yeah. Now Beaver. Oh, I'm sorry. He asked me not to call him Beaver. So Paul, a.k.a. Beaver, who got his nickname by chewing on the windowsills as a child. I told him I wouldn't say that either, but I like to bring the level down a bit. So Paul is here from sunny California. With him is how many sons?
2 boys.
2 boys.
And my grandson.
How many grandsons?
3.
3.
Yeah. And my daughter-in-law, Christina.
And you don't- yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't mention his wife, thank you for assisting in that. Uh, nice to see you. What part of California you folks from?
Imperial Beach, it's south of San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. Naval Base, San Diego.
Oh, yes.
Marine Corps recruit training, San Diego. I've been there.
I thought so.
I've been there. Uh, I want to thank a number of people before we get into our speakers. I want to thank a number of people. First, Randy Brewer, who takes this and puts it on Pegasus. He films every dedication we do in Natick. And if you ever want to look it up, or someone else, there's somebody that's not here in the family, just contact me. I'll give you Randy's email address and off we're running like a herd of turtles. I want to thank my neighbor, almost next door neighbor, Brian Casey, the supervisor for the town of Natick DPW. Maybe Tom's boss, maybe Tom's his boss. I'm not sure. So making sure the sign was done right. You'll see it. Now that I'm on that, I want to thank my right-hand man, one of my best friends in the world, who does so much of the grunt work on his old time. You see that decoration there with the flags? That's Tommy's idea. Tommy Hawkins, DPW, you're the man. And he does really hate the attention. Thank you to Maureen Sullivan. As usual, she's standing right in the middle where she stands. She responsible for the oral history project in Natick, and at all these events, taking photos and so forth, and does a great job of sending that stuff on to the press for the newspapers. Thank you, Maureen. So I'm back to the select board. It's now that time. Do we have? Are each one of you going to take a role in this? Or
Yeah, we're going to...
I'll let since Bruce is who's second in command on the select board now.
That's me.
Then I'll let Bruce handle it.
Chairman of Vice.
And God knows the town of Natick needs a chairman of vice. Chairman of vice, Bruce Evans, Natick Select Board.
Thank you. I'll try to stand up straight without knocking the mic over. Thank you. All right. My thank yous are going to be brief because Paul did most of them, but I want to thank Paul for bringing this to our attention as well as Peter Burke. This is one of the fun parts of our jobs as select board. The pay is good, but you know this is kind of the benefit. I want to thank the DPW who always do a fantastic job of getting these made in a timely manner, and they always look awesome. And they do it thanklessly, well, almost thanklessly, on their own time, and they do a fabulous job, so thanks to them. Next, I want to thank Pegasus, who are always here at these events, and they're always covering everything in town. If you want to know anything about Natick and you want to see it, go check out Pegasus. It's probably there somewhere, right? And these guys put countless hours in, day and night. You know, we have a lot of late meetings that they cover. They're probably reading a book while we're doing it, but that might be true. That's what I would do. And lastly, I want to thank Maureen Sullivan, who's always here at these events. And if you haven't had a chance to see her work at the library on the Veterans Oral History Project, I suggest that you do that if you're in Natick, or even if you're visiting, do a quick stop. So we've already met two of our select board members, Rich and Kristen. We're very lucky to have a select board that works together cooperatively even when we have differences of opinion, which we occasionally have, which is good, and it leads to productive discussion and good answers, good results. So without further ado, I believe we have three. This is us. All right. We're going to have three proclamations. First one is from the Select Board. The next one is going to be from Representative Linsky, and the third is from Senator Spilka's office, Senate President Spilka. Both of them, unfortunately, had conflicts for today, so Rich will do one, and Kristen will do the second. Okay, without further ado. This is unusual for me because I usually get to go last. And so everybody said all the whereases and so forth, so I get to do that first today. Okay, whereas Francis J. Foley served in the Army during World War II, and whereas Paul F. Foley served in the Navy for 30 years, and whereas James C. Foley served in the Marines in Vietnam, and whereas Daniel R. Foley served in the Marines in Vietnam. And whereas Francis was awarded the following decorations: European, African, Middle Eastern Theater Campaign Ribbon, American Theater Campaign Ribbon, and the World War II Victory Medal. And whereas Paul was awarded the following decorations: 2 Bronze Star Medals for Valor, 2 Meritorious Service Medals, 3 Navy Marine Corps Commendation Medals, Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medals, didn't expect that one. Where did we leave? Combat Action Ribbons, 2 Navy Commendations, a Meritorious Unit Commendation Ribbon, 6 Good Conduct Medals, Antarctic Service Medal, Humanitarian Service Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, 7 Navy Marine Corps Overseas Service Ribbons, 7 Expert Rifleman Medals, an Expert Pistol Medal, and a CB Combat Warfare Specialist Insignia. An underachiever he was. Okay, that wasn't written down. I'm going off script there. Whereas James was awarded the following decorations: the Presidential Unit Citation, the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnamese Service Medal, the Republic of Vietnam Campaign Medal, the Rifle Sharpshooter's Badge, and the Pistol Marksman's Badge. Whereas Purple Heart. Okay, I'm sorry, that wasn't on there. Maybe we can amend this. We'll try. Oh, wow. That's a lot of territory. All right. All right. Well, all right. Let's move on to Daniel. Whereas Daniel was awarded the following decorations: National Defense Service Medal, Vietnam Service Medal with 1 star, Vietnam Campaign Medal with device, Vietnam Cross of Gallantry and with palm, and whereas we pay honor to the Foley family for their dedicated service in defense of our nation and Commonwealth and the town of Natick. Signed by the entire Select Board. And who should I be presenting this to? Or do you want to hold on to it till after?
No, well, give it. Bruce is going to give it out, and I'm going to make a note here. So oftentimes, unfortunately, the discharge papers come back to my office not 100% accurate. And I can only put on what I see in writing. So we will correct that. And I wouldn't miss something as important as a Purple Heart, believe me. All right, so next we have Christian Pope. She's going to do the greetings, the resolution by Representative David Linsky. I do the order of Natick first. So David's a Natick resident. He's state rep for, I think, 100 years here in Natick, like your grandfather was state rep for many, many years. I think your grandfather still got David Beat, though. And, because I grew up the street from the Burke family. So, Christian Pope to read the resolution by Representative David Linsky.
Good afternoon, everyone. To the Foley family, to the Foley family friends, to all Natick residents and those traveling near and far, those who are dear, it is a privilege and a blessing to be before you today to share this resolution from the State House. This is still like for Bruce, not really for me. Moment, just give me a moment here, but thank you. So it reads, "Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to the Foley family. In recognition of the dedication to the Foley Family Square at Lincoln and Sherman Streets, the entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this day, the 20th day of July 2024, at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, by Ronald Marino, Speaker of the House, offered by our State Representative, David P. Linsky."
Our elected officials on all levels have been great to the town of Natick. Every time we have one of these dedications, most of the time, they have resolutions here to be read. They can't always make it, but that's why we have 5 members of the select board. They can handle it. So, Senate President Karen Spilka could not be here today, so she's asked that we have her proclamation read, and my good friend and one of my 5 bosses, Richard Sidney, is going to handle that task.
Thank you, Paul. It's a great honor to be here and recognize another veteran. Official citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to the Foley family in recognition of the selfless service of Colonel Francis J. Foley, MCPON, Paul Francis Foley, Lance Corporal James Charles Foley, Lance Corporal Daniel Raymond Foley, and the proud dedication of the Foley Family Square. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. Signed by Karen Spilka, President of the Senate, Michael D. Hurley, Clerk of the Senate, and State Senator Karen Spilka.
I love it. The old saying, I love when a plan comes through, and they all came through for us as norm. So we're going to go next. We're going back to the Foley family now. I really don't need that crazy thing. So, first member of the family to speak will be Daniel. Daniel, are you the oldest sibling? Oldest surviving sibling. So Daniel's a Vietnam veteran. You can come on up, Dan. I can multitask watching you walk up here and talking, so I'm good with that. So 2 brothers are going to speak today. Daniel's going to be our first speaker on behalf of the family. I just got to say one more time, and it's not going to be just one more time, how much I love these Saturdays. I love these Saturdays. coming here. I do behavioral health therapy in the mornings, and usually 10:30. Then my second group's at 12. Well, I told my partner in crime, Dr. Sock, I said, you're handling the 12 o'clock one because I have more important stuff to do here in Natick. So Dr. Sock's handling the second one. Daniel, this is a great show up of family, friends, neighbors. Uh, I see a couple of old townies here. A couple of my neighbors, Peter Burke, number being one, and Richie Allen and Tim Mahoney, two former town employees. And I think they're both living out of town now, right? No, Richie's still here. I just see him walking up in Wells Beach occasionally. So, I don't think did I use that word old in my description? Yeah, older. How's that, Tim? Because I've come to the conclusion that I am older. No question about it. I am older. You know, my hair, my size, my weight. I don't have the same punch I used to have. You know, but I still have the same moves I used to have. I taught self-defense for almost 40 years with different departments, so I can still go with some of the younger generation. Notice I said some of them. So Daniel can be our first speaker on behalf of the family again. This is my favorite task of my duties as a VSO. It's not in my job description, folks, but I just love doing this since day one, back in 2010 till the present. The only thing that's changed is the members of the select board, and I love what I see now on the members of the select board. All 5 of you rock. Thank you. Daniel, you're up.
Okay, Paul. All right. Thank you, Paul. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. It's really sinking in what an honor and a pleasure this is to see our family recognized for our service after all of us growing up right up here at number 13 on Lincoln Street. And if you can't hear me well, just tell me to speak up. It's service is to us has been about honor, duty, and loyalty, and many people feel that way too when they enlist or volunteer to do things, even in community and around the country. Honor, the way of life, our democracy, and duty to uphold and defend the Constitution and all that it means, and therefore our land. And loyalty to those principles in the Constitution, and striving to turn back any challenges that people around the world might present. That was the principles that at least I, and I think a lot of other people, believe when they enlist, not just something to do, you know. So representing the service of our family here with the dedication and Foley Square, it's incredible. So I might get a little adrift here a bit, but I do want to, along with Paul, mention some people, and so this might be a little repetitious, but please bear with me. Particularly right up front, the Natick Veterans Project and Maureen Sullivan, who this is, it gives us veterans a really comfortable place to talk about our experiences. And they keep it's saved in the archive of the Morse Library. And thank you, Maureen, and other folks who Paul has mentioned, but particularly Paul, as Natick's Veteran Service Officer, for his efforts to make this possible. And Peter Burke and Steve Sullivan, both good friends of ours, and playing a part in that effort also, and the support and encouragement of our wonderful sisters, Barbie, Martha, and Janet, who made sure that the T's were all crossed and the I's were dotted, and that the town meetings went as in the direction that was intended. And of course the whole town of Natick, because the town has always been supportive of its veterans. And that's a great comfort when you come home from your efforts, even though didn't live here all that long after getting out of the service, but this is like a touchstone, you know, coming back to the old neighborhood especially, and just knowing that the town supports the veterans and will make the effort to do things like this. So thank you much, Natick. Love you for it. Always will love you. Now, Dad and Jim couldn't be here today. They have passed on, but I know, and I think we all know, they're with us anyway. And also Mom, Jean, and Brother Rich, they're with them, and they're all happy for us. So there is that. Now, Beeve, being the longest serving of us all, with and as a U.S. Navy Seabee, seeing many of the places in the world that a lot of people just don't even think about. But the places are functioning thanks to folks like Paul. So, sure, give him a big hand. Yeah. And Jimmy and I both enlisted in the Marines. We each did a tour in Vietnam, and Paul, of course, has 2 tours of Iraq under his belt, which won't be any more of those, right, Beef? I hope Mr. United States Navy Master Chief, retired, and enjoying it, I'm sure. You look like you are. And Jim was a machine gunner in Gulf Company, 2nd Battalion of the 3rd Marines in Vietnam. I was a radio operator in the 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, and forward air controller for Delta Company of that battalion. And Dad was in an anti-tank unit in the European theater, and I just can't imagine facing down giant machines like that and not getting affected somehow. But Dad did it because that was his job. We all did our jobs, and that's what it's about. You don't really think about any of the details except the ones you got to pay attention to, and that's getting it done. So thanks again, Natick. Really appreciate it. This is awesome, and thank you folks all for being here today. Our friends, family, and loved ones, and folks from around the neighborhood, the old neighborhood. Maybe I used to deliver the newspaper at your house. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Natick. We love you.
Dan.
Thank you, Paul.
Great, great words. Great words. I have, before we finish, I have some challenge coins for our veterans, all right? And I have a different challenge coin for the family members that are here today. Rose, could you grab them off my front seat in a little plastic bag? Thank you. So you spoke kind words and real words. Brings back memories, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, hotel company. What do you think I did? I was a radio operator. What was the radio we carried? Prick 25. PS, that's what we call it. PRC 25. You never forget that instrument. Many a mile, many a trail. Chasing the CO around for a while, chasing the platoon leader around for a while. That's what we did. We did it right. We did the best we could. And we were the best trained, correct? Absolutely. So our next speaker is Paul. And I guess he's got seniority, guys. Master Chief? Master Chief. Oh my God! I was in the reserves for 10 years after my active duty, and I reached the very prestigious rank of Gunny Sergeant E7. And I sometimes joke with my longtime Navy veterans. So you were an E9, Master Chief. Isn't that kind of equal to a Gunny Sergeant? I got a big no, and he's right. I'm just playing with him. So our next speaker is Paul. I've already gone into this other stuff, and I'm not going to go into it again. So, welcome, Paul.
Tim, where's that blank piece of paper I asked you for? So I come up and say, I'm just going to speak from the heart. So literally nothing prepared, but to see all of you here, this is fabulous. Thank you to the town. Thank you to the board, the select board, and the police officers. Thank you, sir. I did want to square away a couple of things. So Jim, as you know, was awarded the Purple Heart for wounds in Vietnam. Dan and Jim, both of them saw way more gunfights than I ever did in 2 combat tours. So that says a lot about those guys. So before the waterworks start, I think I'm going to retire. Just say thank you all, truly from the heart. Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul Crew. Appreciate it. Bob, I know 16 Winter Lane, write that in your little notebook, in Framingham.
You're all invited to lunch.
Everybody's invited to lunch.
Well, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're not done yet.
I know.
Oh,
I
just so
just
you know.
wanted him to say it.
All right. You don't want me to say it?
No, go
I
ahead.
don't blame her. Okay.
Thanks, Kenny.
I wouldn't. All right. Yeah,
I just want to say something very
I'm going to do my favorite open mic.
Oh, awesome. Thanks. So I didn't expect to do this. I'm the sister of Paul and Dan. And I want to tell you something about Dan. He was a radio operator, as he said. And I don't know all the details of this story, but there was a wounded person on one end of his radio. And Dan encouraged him to live. Dan encouraged him over the radio, saying, you're going to make it, until the helicopter could come and get him. Years later, Dan was at a reunion, and this gentleman heard him speak, and he said, I know that voice. You saved my life. They had never met face to face, but I just want to say that's the kind of thing that happens when you devote yourself to your country and you do the service. And I also want to say something about my brother Paul. Wherever he went, if there were children there, he would organize games for them. I mean, they're incredible men, and I just want everyone to know. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Every square dedication has kind of an open mic time, so you're not the first, you won't be the last. Now comes a good time. Who's able, you see this plastic here covering? No, let me finish. Quick story, doing these square dedications. I was the first to be pushed off a ladder uncovering one of these squares, and the last, because if you're over a certain age, which you're not, or you're walking with a cane, which neither one of these guys are, you don't do it. So they both passed my muster or inspection, as I say. Rose, come over here and join me. Everything's technology one these days. So while these so I got right now Rich Sidney and Paul, whoever else. Rich Sidney's going to hold the ladder for you, Jack. Jack, are you a son of one of the brothers?
Paul's son. Yeah.
Paul's son. Okay. I don't see the family resemblance. But stay right there.
She's right up front.
Oh, I see the family resemblance. Now hold 1 second. Somebody with better eyes. Rich.
Yeah, what do you need?
I
Can't
need,
guarantee my eyes are any better.
going to play taps for all those that did not come home or are buried here and abroad. Go ahead, Jack. I'm moving off. What, Rosa?
He is active duty as well.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay. This is for the three brothers about my age that served. I apologize for my technical incompetence. But I buy challenge coins and pins all the time, and I have my favorites. And this is absolutely by far my favorite. And it speaks a lot about the two members of the family that are not here today.
Thank you, Paul.
And one more.
Oh, for Jim. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mark. Mark. Is that Mark?
Jack. Jack.
I just met him and I'm calling by the wrong name already. For the last time, you're going to hear these words out of my mouth. This is my favorite task for the town of Natick. I am so honored that the town fathers and mothers allow me to continue to do this. And somebody once asked me, Rick Jeanette, longtime select person, asked me at Square Dedication about 4 years or 5 years ago, when are you going to give this up, Paul? When my cold, dead body is found. So I'm going to continue. And don't expect that to happen soon, folks. Don't get your hopes up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kenny.
Great honor. Thank you, great honor. All right, this concludes our ceremony.